Yangon Galacticos going full send to victory.
They want this top spot to close out day one. Two players fall at their feet. A smile just about threading the bullets either side of him, able to dodge them, and Seoul goes down next. A spray down.
Yangon Galacticos. A nice split. Silas set up further ahead. Yeah, this is going to get more and more intense. Secret catching vision.
This is the nice thing about Regnum Kari as well, is that we mentioned it beforehand, where they're a proactive team. They don't allow themselves to be caught up in the moment and just sit around, feet up, watching telly inside these compounds. They are very much active on the outside there. They took shots over towards Alpha Gaming. They cut out over towards that south side. It's not a crazy amount of points they're able to find this game in terms of Elim, just the 3, but they've confirmed a strong spot on that southwest side. Weibo are in front of them, as you've mentioned. I'd like to see how they're going to handle this into the future, because it's some weird terrain that they'll have to push through.
For Yangon, it could be on finish him off, but at what cost? One player left, just him.
Gives me Yangon Galacticos, as well as Team Secret have some very favorable positions going in towards the future. They can effectively sort of ignore one another. And
it's a full confirmation from Rosemary. Quick pick-me-up play as well from Krypton.
Oh, there it is again. I mean, I'd like to see more DVS, but to be fair, he's one of the most skillful players, is Sook, with that explosive arrow. And it's something new, it's something different. And he finds success out of it. Like we said, it doesn't always pop up too often in the Elim feed, but the amount of space that Weibo gains off of Sook, wielding the bow and letting loose some absolute ringers.
Weaponizing the crowd there as well. You could see the excitement. We mentioned it, man. Would we be seeing it in playoffs? Yeah, he doesn't give a damn. Grand stage, important matchups. He'll still be playing to his best, playing his flavor of PUBG Mobile. That's actually the final.
Will be brought low from the western edge.
And they've been wanting to play that slower style into these games. Here, though, 4 Thrives take the fight straight to you. Yes, they lose one player, but they can reset from it. Bit of Weibo action going on again here as well, with Fireflux having a real struggle start going into playoffs already, again, removed from the equation. Alter Ego continue unloading the mortar strike. Nade after nade on top.
This has been an extremely extended fight. I think we've seen knocks coming through across the board, but Ida starts to get involved now over towards Alter Ego. I think they just lost one. Krypton is down. Now Alva needs to pull out something special. Yangon Galacticos down to just the 2 players. 2 players knocked for them.
Alva belly crawling, using the grass and the ridge side to provide him some additional cover. Quick jump spot, seeing if he can get visual contact over the edge, over the smoke. Vahidan as well takes a stray bullet from the side. Nonshin Red Force building into this one.
They just need to pick Krypton back up again. Technically, he is in cover, so Alva will head back down there, but a full 3v3 and plenty of nades to work with. Saycloud might just be on target there with that one. He sends over the top, and it won't be a lot of damage needed to take Krypton out, and it will be a knock over towards Alva. And despite a massive spree coming through in this game from Alter Ego over towards Yangon Galacticos, it is the Galactic comeback coming through on the north side of the map. Very surprising that Yangon comes out of this one with the 3 players.
That's the go pistol to push up for them as well. And similarly for Moana, it's time to bail. That fight has gone no way near how they wanted it to go down. Trapped as well as he...
The assault rifle, as he is with the bow. The team will support him there, still make it happen. Weibo attempting to move up, but it's those 2 angles. Like I said, it's an efficient... I don't want to call it teamwork between both teams, but it's an agreement, right? You both have an extremely strong position. Let's get rid of the teams that could cause problems for us later on before we engage in one-on-one combat.
Yeah, you know to prioritize first. Don't poke the hornet's nest until it's time to engage. Frankie with the move up. Wow. Damage back over. Slapping him there. Forcing him into a bit of a rough spot. Three squads going head-to-head, of course. And Alpha Gaming only have the one man left alive. That's Reefus that's further down.
This will be the second game in a row that Alpha Gaming have been able to get themselves a podium finish with a solo player towards these end circles. He's going to make a break for it. Murnat definitely saw him, was wondering why he went for that play. I don't think he had much choice in that situation. Murnat had actually pushed off that position as well. It's just unlucky that he comes out at that timing. Trang will go down.
Shots back and forth, trades on either side. Intensity building, SayCloud looking for the angle. Murnat from further back, able to assist. They can focus fire on Frankie. He's removed, cauterize it and reset. Two players alive, focusing on the pickup as well. Grab Romeo.
I mean, just make it as hard as possible. A 3v1. There's absolutely no way that Jaiki should be able to get himself out of this one with Yangon Galacticos starting to move up. And the map is enveloped by space as they suffocate out the rest of the teams from the high ground, pick themselves up a big chicken dinner. Not only against some of the hardest spots in the lobby like Alter Ego, but Regnum Kaya, who sent their way up there earlier, who did get... It is just a case of, even in those tough scenarios, a lot of teams know the best areas to play, how they want to move out. I think the big mistake from that last game was definitely Regnum Kaya. It is just a case of, even in those tough scenarios, a lot of teams know the best areas to play, how they want to move out. I think the big mistake from that 70, 80 damage numbers coming up on the screen, but over 3 players. At that point, I think I would have liked for them to go for a bit more of a... Game would have been very, very different.
Yeah, I felt like they were setting themselves up for a ton of success, man. Let's see. Maybe you can reset from it blank. They'll be able to get themselves into a better position to show us what they're made of and what they're capable of. For Yangon, they were certainly capable of greatness into that previous game, casting a shadow over the lobby. Out here up against Thunder Talks early on the drop. Bit of room to work with those. They could avoid the fight if they want to.
We're going to head down towards Sosnovka as well to start things off. So a lot of teams will need to get a move on. Power already heading out over that bridge, crossing it over towards Yangon and Thunder Talks, who are currently in close contention at the moment.
Power as well, you know, individually, I think the gun skill's certainly there today, playing to their strengths. Not in a bad spot whatsoever. Tied at the minute. Ooh. This is back over towards our drop fight that we were mentioning, of course. Thunder Talks out with the Tommy. Teaching you lessons from distance. Where art thou, Romeo?
I think he should have just kept crawling. I get a moment of, if I stop crawling, maybe he'll miss the shots. Maybe I need to like fake him out a little bit. Instead, just made it extremely easy to line up that shot. Still impressive with the Tommy as well to hit at that distance. Origo aren't done yet either as they pick up an initial knock over towards Fireflux, which is one of their most difficult rotation contenders, right? Where Origo need to come out from the Povka. I like that they send a player out early in Rosemary, I believe it is, who is a player that you would desperately want in your front line. It's Krypton, in fact, that sent out first, who has been stepping up, right, to the plate. So it's nice to see him get an initial knock, and that's going to make their rotation down towards the south much easier playing against a 3-man squad. That changes their rotation. It changes their plan on this entire map.
Scary as well for Fireflux as a roster overall, because I think that squad, you know, we were sort of talking about this idea of being able to build your confidence, feed the hot hand, keep that momentum going. They've been hitting dead stops again and again, where it feels like, you know, the floor falls out from underneath them. They're not able to build themselves, not getting too late into these games, and that could come back to haunt them. Oh, you're just bullying on the exit as well. They're literally trying to retreat from this, and you still find a second knock into a full takedown on SayCloud. Wow, that's a bit of a rough start, considering you've just taken your opening chicken dinner.
Yeah, King living up to the name of the weapon used there. Getting a nasty mark over towards Yangon Galacticos with the scar. There's that shot from... Oh, it was Rosemary, I wasn't wrong. Seeing things. But yeah, so nice play from Rosemary there. Able to find the initial play coming through from Fireflux. And as Yangon Galacticos tried to escape, it's no secret that that kind of rotation is not going to go unpunished.
Felt rough to watch that one. Kind of uncomfortable, really.
In the tree line now, and Xeris is going to send forward. It's a straight shot over towards him. Murnat likely to go out, and Yangon Galacticos, after what was an incredible performance last Erangel, do end up going out in 6th.
Get refreshed, because it is about to get messy.
Let's get it going. Game number 4, back to Erangel, and time to see who's ready to perform and who is ready.
Right, you want to transition in towards the late game. They've pushed up towards 30 points though, and they will be okay for the time being and playing on a 3. Not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world, but see how that game ends up unfolding. Smile barely, just a nick of health, and manages to get away. Team Secret applying the pressure. Yangon Galacticos, Team Secret rotating maybe up north, then dropping down south through Naya. Team Secret could get a drop on them if they continue to progress forward, which could be great for playing a gatekeeper role. For now, just trying to heal up and just really recover. For Team Secret, though, unfortunately, I think they're going to lose at least one into blue, if I'm not mistaken. For Barnett, though, he's moving up.
So are the rest of the team. At least several of them are trying to go in pursuit here, hopping out, going for the spray. Zeros has to divert, send back behind the headland. Is there an off-angle hop out? No, but the blue zone will do a little bit more damage here. We're only at stage 1, so this is very, very survivable on these rotates. It's not really going to do.
Galacticos, I thought we're going to take the roadway and then cut through, but say Cloud has stayed.
Top and Yol on the south side, but I imagine they're going to be thinking more about going east. You can see Top trying to hold face, and around this shelter entrance, it's just nobody making that first move right now, and they can chill out for a little bit longer with the circle.
APG can be truly punishing to DRX. The only thing stopping them from shooting, I believe, are the smokes. They just can't get the line of sight. But Top should have infinite vision. In fact, he's going to get active. So there's going to be Top on one full finish on one DRX member who's now starts to push up. This gives an opportunity for Yangon Galacticos to start firing at DRX as well. Weibo says enough is enough. Takes down an APG member. 33Z also taking a tremendous amount of damage. It comes to show you literally nobody is safe. And Weibo on the outskirts of zone, fully eliminated.
It's in circles like this that you've got to think potentially Fireflux could have a chance if this fight on the southwest side doesn't conclude, but it looks like Yangon have isolated their entrance and will be playing on fairly convincingly. SayCloud very likely to get this knock on the Horman. That should be an easy pickup for them behind the rock, sure, but you have to dash out to try and find that res, and with only Joker left standing, they don't have a lot of time to get this one.
Currently, Yangon Galacticos have a beautiful spot where they are at. If the zone favors them on the next shift, they are going to be set up very nicely to control the end game. Of course, depending on what DRX and APG decide to do from their current position. For Falcons, they refuse to move, but now they have to start going a little bit more forward, which means E-Arena are very much ready for them. But the good news is Mormon was taken down just a little bit ago. He's down but not out, and E-Arena have to make a decision. Do we want the pickup? Well, now they don't have a choice. Sakura also gone. Romeo taking him out, so YG getting active, and now Ralph says, I'm pushing up. I'm taking the advantage in the mid zone. Here comes the Falcons.
The north side now could conclude, and the Falcons may have all the leverage they need to try and leapfrog south. But you could see how flat and open it is, which gives Yangon Galacticos so much power, so many sightlines over towards E-Arena especially. Romeo is laying down the law from the high ground there. DRX want the challenge. They've gone out of the other entrance, and now they're trying to try and maintain that high ground with their 3 players moving on in. But no, it's Hora doing a lot of work, but Hyunbin still has a little bit more gas left in the tank. Unfortunately, he will draw short, and QZ across the way gonna have to try and hide now behind the rocks, but will be pushed by that blue zone. DRX on the precipice.
And it looks like Falcons E-Arena are also popping up against each other. Joker is going to fall, so is Sakura. Fully eliminated. E-Arena are out of there, and now Falcons have a good foothold on the northern part of the zone. So really, Falcons, Yangon Galacticos in an absolute power spot, you would have to assume, unless the solo from DRX can dismantle piece by piece the Yangon Galacticos roster just up ahead. And let's not forget Scarface, another solo for Fireflux, who's going to be dead center. Falcons get blessed by zone. Yangon Galacticos now have to push up, and so does Hora.
With this zone, it keeps this little hill that you can see in front of Koa inside this zone, and you're right, they are getting blessed. But if Redox keeps going down like this, it's going to get a little bit more tenuous here on the northern side. Redox not happy. Behind the wall for Falcons to flex back out. I don't know if they can commit to this. They'd have to expend a lot of smokes. In the meantime, Yangon Galacticos, they are going to have to make a move.
Yes, they got to push forward, and there's a lot of open space. They've been hanging out next to this cave for the longest time. I don't blame them, but now the time to get active is in, and you got No Fear, who's been doing such a great job from a distance, being detrimental to each and every roster he's come across. So he's going to be the X factor for me for the Horda roster, at least when Yangon Galacticos starts to rotate over. For the solo from DRX, I don't know if he's going to be able to survive this. I really don't. But for him, all eyes on YG, who now start to move forward. This is going to answer our question of who takes this game. If Yangon Galacticos get mowed down now by Falcons, it is going to be all Falcons for the victory.
With Ralph moving out to the west side to go for the res onto Redox, they're actually west side bolstered right now on the Falcons roster. So Yangon Galacticos potentially picking the wrong time to go for this one. And with Horat on that side swipe, this road crossing is nigh on untraversable. As Horat actually going to try and backfill on this rotate and play on the south side. This could be a great play coming through from Horat. They'll finally get rid of Scarface, who was on a sliver of HP, and now it seems to be a two-horse race.
If I'm Falcons, I'm paying close attention to Horda starting to move up. Fireflux are now gone. We're getting deep into it. Only 4 more teams remain, and really one of them is inconsequential. It's only a solo from DRX. A mini red zone starting to form. Say Cloud trying to get back onto his feet. Smile desperately needs this. Yangon Galacticos with the desperation push forward gets picked apart. Romeo down, and it's Falcons from Koa taking him out.
A little ridgeline to play around, a couple of vehicles keeping them safe from Horror for the time being. Yangon Galacticos may be able to stay up as 2, but Smile down behind that vehicle, and that crate has been beautiful for No Fear. He's going to try and get a little bit more though. They're putting pressure onto the Falcons. 3 kilometers away from this plane path, maybe a little bit more actually, so it could be difficult to get. Can be nice and friendly. It's a question of getting those vehicles on side though as we head on in up
very, very closely. So maybe we see a repeat of that. Falcons over on the left-hand side by Horda. That's going to be an interesting one if they decide to land next to each other. Very curious where this next zone, or first zone, I should say, is going to pop up, because that's going to tell the true story of what we can expect.
Ooh, I'm looking at Picardo right now. There's a lot of teams, and they will have Romeo almost on full surround now. They're putting this pressure on. Redox gets that flush. Hang on a minute. No, that's Koa taking the vehicle up in flames with it. The M249 for Koa. He's going to be able to lay down that damage. Nice and healthy output there for the Falcons, and they disengage. They don't need to overextend here, and it's nice to see.
But it's also for Yangon Galacticos. I mean, there's really nowhere they can go. Forward, you got 4 Thrives waiting on you, and then if you go backwards, you got Falcons who are going to be gatekeeping you. You go down.
And Ida very, very down on their luck. Now it's just Emre who was across the way, disengaged from that fight for the longest time. Finally.
He is. For Ragnar's sake, though, I think he tried to get a little bit too fancy on the off angle, and it ended up being his undoing. And, well, he loses his life in the meantime. For Power, though, they look great. DRX.
Single side of the circle, and right now the most dangerous one is probably Loxy on that southwest edge for Regnum Karya.
I would say so. Loxy could be devastating. Say Cloud, though, hits a nice shot, and that's going to be 2 from Power, dropping off, and the chances of making it to top 3 to the podium now ends. But as you said it best, they do get some placement points, so there is a positive for Emery. He tried his best to stay alive, but DRX takes him out without any drama whatsoever. We're now down to our top 3.
Okay, this should be a free win for DRX right now. They've been able to hold this compound for so long. It's 2 solos, and neither of the solos are in this next circle. They've got control of the hillside. They're in overexposed positions. So Easy goes down, and that is going to be a nice pickup, actually. Hang on a minute.
Very nice.
I said it should be a free win. Hang on a minute. We're just getting word that I lied. I lied to you.
Well, let's see what ends up happening. The pickup might be able to come through. We mentioned Loxy as well, right? From Ragnum Karya. He's going to be potentially devastating. And both players, right, from Yangon Galacticos as well as Loxy from Regnum Karya, they're going to be pincering in this DRX roster. Looks to be a beautiful nade. I believe it does connect just a little bit. Here comes DRX. Now, I don't want them to get too aggressive here. They now have 2 players down low, and overexposing yourself to Say Cloud might be a reason why these solos could take a win.
Say Cloud has a brilliant sideswipe here, right? You can see that ridge line that rolls down the hill away from Hyunbin. That is what Say Cloud is playing on. So Hyunbin flexing down this way. I really like this idea. Loxy should be taken care of by the blue zone. That will just sort of conclude itself here.
Yep.
And Say Cloud, sure, he might have the sideline swipe, but the center of the circle is still under control for DRX. And they do manage to keep things together, right? It's not going to get too spicy out here in the open, and he won their way. So potentially no hot drop, or at least no pursuit over towards the Falcons on this one for El Pozo.
Well, we'll find out, right? Falcons did have quite a few teams around them, and it was Horda and Falcons who ended up kind of, tussling with each other. Pozo might see the same thing here as Well, Smile tends to drop out, and I think he's going to take over that southern portion. It took a little bit of time before they finally ended up in contention with Hora as well as Falcons up there towards El Pozo. But it's the mad dash for the vehicles, and that's where you start seeing the heavy points of contention, especially between Hora and Falcons, who are very close to each other already as they glide through the air.
North side will be eliminated down in 12th place there. 11 of our...
Be dropped, and Hora is gone. I got a question. If they don't go for the 2-2 split, do they survive? If they're not focused on 3 teams simultaneously, would they have better luck? Well, we'll never know, unfortunately. For Yangon Galacticos finally pushing into the aggressive Ragnar Karia, who are getting taken down, running on fumes. 2 players down and out. Ragnar Karia most likely going to be finished off in this moment. Only 1 player remains, and I don't see him currently. Actually, it's going to be Wild way off in the distance, so he's going to be a solo for the remainder of this game.
Yangon Galacticos can keep up pace now. They have 2 elims on scorecard, and they will be 4 players alive after this res.
Bo, keeping Yangon Galacticos in check. APG, great spot overlooking DRX and Team Secret, which, let's highlight them, right? Team Secret, even though they only have a solo last alive, they did such a great job dismantling Hora a little bit earlier, 4 eliminations going their way. And the solo of Trey staying up is just huge, in my opinion. They should not be alive in this moment. They should not be fighting for a potential top 3 finish. But APG forced to go forward, and now DRX, who were being hunted down from APG, now could potentially gatekeep them. If they play this right, they could win this fight, but it's not going to be easy because they don't have the man advantage.
Kyunbin taken very, very low with a nade, cooked nicely. Has to get the knock, but they'll know there's a player on the inside there now. An APG with 4 players are wary of their south edge, but I don't imagine they expect Alva to be on this loot crate right now. Just trying to stay alive for Alter Ego. APG very reluctant, actually, to push all the way through this one.
It's tough. It's tough for DRX. I mean, because you know DRX is right in front, and they've got a great spot. Alva, I wonder if he gets a bit mixy. He's stayed alive for the longest time, and he's going to be able to take a peek over at Doc if he chooses to fire. But I think for him, he just wants to keep his head low and just go for top 3 if he possibly can. Aaron from Ida is going to be fully finished off. That'll be Ida out in 6th place. We're now down to our top 5. Things are starting to get spicy. APG on the move. DRX need to be ready.
Kyunbin first to face. Finally, Alva is dispatched, and that's going to open up the flank there. With top going down, looks like they want to commit for this res. Potentially very, very dangerous out in the open. I don't think you want to make this one work. So easy now with the SKS on the red dot. Okay, a little bit lackluster on the weaponry there, potentially, but so easy. Only has his teammate Kyunbin there. Crawling away. They could look for this res, but I think Yangon Galacticos aren't going to allow that one to happen.
Soez can truly help Yangon Galacticos in this moment, who are starting to come in. They're starting to close the vice grip, and if Soez can take any members from APG down, that's only going to help the win for the side of Yangon Galacticos. Soez will not be successful. Doc will win the fight, and it will be APG with a 4-man unit against a 4-man unit of Yangon Galacticos. Meanwhile, for Weibo, most likely getting finished off very, very shortly. Ooh. You got 1 player who's going to be down. Yangon Galacticos going full send to victory.
They want this top spot to close out day 1. 2 players fall at their feet. A Smile just about threading the bullets either side of him. Major to dodge them, and Seoul goes down next. A spray down over towards Doc, and that is going to be it. It's curtains for Alpha Gaming. 3rd place in a pretty brutal fashion on the northeast side now. 2 players, sorry, just 1 player from Weibo to stand in the way of Yangon Galacticos. They will be up and over 60 points on the match. A beautiful result for them. Their day has been stellar. DRX as well, up and towards that podium again. Some really consistent performances at the top. They are going blow for blow.
Without a doubt, 4 out of their 6 games, they get
in the as to who might be winning it, because I haven't seen like a big wow performance.
Find themselves in 9th place right now. The good thing about this is
you can get a few limbs, a few placement points that can still keep you relevant in the conversation.
Agreed. Here are the results.